standing here in front of a garden space that I'm slowly cultivating and preparing. You see, it's pretty manageable space for now. This mint here, which I believe is either a sweet mint or a spearmint. Here you have some Italian parsley, some tomatoes here growing. This one's producing these two here. Actually, there's 3 on it. Here I have some bok choy that's been eaten by rabbits, some sweet potato, and a lot of various other things that really don't require a lot of tender love and care. I have a plan today to gather all the weeds I cleared out from around the perimeter. I'm cultivating a space to build a bamboo fence in order to keep out all the armadillos, all of the rabbits that like to come in and sneak a few chunks of your greens, and pretty soon you'll end up like that bok choy you've seen, which is completely eaten down to the stems. So here you can see along the outsides of the garden, I've cleared about a foot. This is like about half a foot here. Along the sides and along the back, I've cleared about a foot. I have more room to put in the bamboo fence when I build it. All the weeds that I have gathered and that I have taken out, they're just scattered around the garden. And what I can tell you here is this is a lot of wasted energy. They've been using all of the energy that is stored in this garden. And what I've done, I've taken the weeds out, the weeds that have gathered nitrogen to grow there, and I'm just letting them degrade on the outside of it. If you're trying to fertilize your garden naturally, is to be able to take all the resources that are still inside of the weeds and be able to feed that back into the garden. One way to do it is to just pull the weeds and put them back on top of the garden, and eventually they will, the sun will bake them. They'll lose the nutrients because they're not getting any supply because the roots are outside of the soil. As it rains, it'll take all the nutrients and let them pour back into the soil as they drain from the weeds. I like this strategy a little bit better, which I'm about to show you, is to gather the weeds, put them inside of a bucket or put them inside of a container, put them in water, and allow the water to pull and extract all the nutrients from those weeds, so that in about a week or 2 you can pour that water back into the garden and you'll be giving it a lot of nitrogen. And it's a way to keep that cycle going of not wasting any energy that your garden has generated. All right, so I'm all done here gathering weeds. I have them here in this bucket. One thing I want to point out to be careful about is making sure that you don't gather any weeds that have seeds on them. When you fill them with water and you let them sit inside of this bucket, you'll create an environment for those seeds to germinate. But once you go to pour all the water back into the garden, you'll be pouring more seeds into the garden too, creating what you don't want more of. I have right here a Biden's alba, very prevalent in Florida. They have the little yellow flowers. This one's it's kind of still there. That little spiky part there, those are the seeds. And you'll brush past it. You have some of that on all of your clothes. Those are the seeds. That's the way that they germinate. That's the way that they get around. They blow in the wind, so they're very, very abundant. I'm looking around. I'm looking at loads of them right now. Make sure when you're gathering the seeds, they don't have, or gathering the weeds, they don't have seeds. Now that this is finished and filled with water, I could put the top on it, but what I'll do is let the sun bake it a little bit. It'll be just like having a hot tea. That'll start to pull out all the nutrients. Later on today, I'll put the cap on it and let it sit for about a week. Then after that, I'll just hold all the weeds back, pour it into the garden, and I'll have more nutrients. So that's the gist of what I wanted to show you. Once you take the cap off after about a week or 2, be ready for the smell. Really earthy, deep, dark smell, very pungent. One of those that kind of sticks in your nostrils for a little while. If you're in the garden, you've smelled really earthy things before. That's how you know it's packed full of nutrients and it's ready for you. So anyways, that's what I wanted to show you today. So save your weeds, save the energy, and keep it regulating inside of your garden.